Today we're going to start our unit on ratios. So here's lesson 5.1 on ratios. Please make sure you have your notebook and pencil out ready to go. You will have to stop this video a few times to take notes and that, but I want you to have notes and examples written in your notebook. So we're going to start working on our academic competency of, solving proportional problems with real world. Today we're going to talk about identifying equivalent ratios and rates. The rest of it we will get to. So first thing we're going to do is review a few fraction ideas, just because even though we're not dealing with fractions, they have the same kind of properties as fractions do. So circle the equivalent fractions. 1/2, 5/10, 6/12 are all equivalent. I always start with the low one. 1/3, 3/9 works, 6/18 works, 2/8 is equal to 1/4, so that does not work. Circle let me know whether or not each pair of fractions is equivalent. Is 3/5 equal to 12/20? So I know I multiplied by 4. If I multiply by 4, yes, they are equivalent. I know some people are thinking, well, we added 5, but we're not going to do that. We have to either multiply or divide. So no, these are not equivalent. So let's fill in the missing part. I multiplied by 3, so 2 times 3 is 6. I multiplied by 3 here as well, so 1 times 3 is 3. I can also go up and down. So I multiplied here by 5, so 4 times 5 gives me 20. Let's do a few more. We're going to simplify, so that means we bring it down to the lowest terms. And I basically have to divide by the same number. So here I know I can divide by 3. I get 4/5. I did 12 divided by 3, 15 divided by 3. Here I know I can divide, I'm going to divide by 22, which gives me 1/2. Here I can divide by 2, which gives me 3/7. Here I can divide by 5, which gives me 2/7. And here I can divide by 9, which gives me 1/3. So let's do the word problem. You had a couple of these on your cumulative review assignment. Ordered 2 pizzas from 2 different restaurants. They ate 5/6 of the pizza from Don's Pizzeria and 9/12 of the pizza. Did they eat the same amount? So basically, is 5/6 equal to 9/12? So here I could multiply by 2, but if I multiplied by 2, I'd want to get 10. So no, they did not. So how can you check to see if these fractions or ratios are equivalent? Well, we went across and we went up and down. So we're going to do the same thing here. 2 times 2 equals 4. So if 8 times 2 equals 16, which it does, yes, they are equivalent. We could also go across. 2 times 4 equals 8. 4 times 4 equals 16. Either way, we prove that, yes, they are equivalent. Let's check to see if these are. Again, I'm going to go up and down because I know 6 times 2 gives me 12. Does 8 times 2 give me 16? Yes, it does. So yes, these are equivalent. You only have to go one way. So pause the video, and I need you to copy everything down here into your notes. I will go through it, but pause it so you make sure that you get it all. First idea is, what is a ratio? It's a comparison of 2 values. You can write them 3 different ways. One with a semicolon, one with the word 2, and then as a fraction. We are generally going to be using this way and this way. We probably won't use that as much. Like fractions, ratios should always be written in simplest form. And we have two different kinds of ratios. We have a part-to-part ratio, which compares part of a set to another part of the same set. Boys to girls in a 7th grade classroom is the example. We're also going to do part to whole, which compares part of the whole to the actual whole. So those are the things that I want you to have into your notes. Again, pause your video, finish writing it, and then we'll move on. So here we go. Henry has 1 dinosaur in his collection. Julie has 4 dinosaurs in her collection. So depending upon how it's written, I want Henry's dinosaurs to Julie's dinosaurs. So Henry has 1, Julie has 4. So you can write it like that or like that. You could write it to this way as well, but like I said, we don't use that as much. Now we switched it around. Now we're going to do Julie's dinosaurs to Henry's dinosaurs. So we have 4 to 1 or 4 to 1. How about buttons and threads? Let's see, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So buttons to thread, we have 21 to 7 or 21 over 7. Thread to buttons, we turn it around, 7 to 21, 7 to 21. Now, the problem with this one is they're not in simplest form, so we need to change it. We're going to divide by 7 on this, so we're going to have 3 to 1, 3 to 1 instead of the way we wrote it. Here we're going to have 1 to 3 and 1 to 3 instead of using the 7 and 21. Always in simplest form. Cake to candles. I believe we have 6 cakes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 24. So cake to candles, we have 6 to 24. But again, we need to simplify. I can divide by 6, which is going to give me 1 to 4. So then I would have 1 to 4. I don't have to redo that math because now I can just switch it around. Candles to cake would be 4 to 1, 4 to 1. Now, instead of pictures, we have a word problem, but it's basically the same thing. Lisa and her brother Tim went to the store today and bought some brownies. Lisa bought 8 brownies. Tim bought 2. So then we go back and we look and see how they want it. They want Lisa's brownies, which is 8, to Tim's brownies, which is 2. Again, we can simplify. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. We get 4 to 1, 4 to 1. Switch it around. Tim's brownies to Lisa's brownies. Oops, 1 to 4, 1 to 4. Apples and oranges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 apples. So 5 to 1, and we can't simplify that. It's already simplified, so we're done. Oranges to apples, 1 to 5, 1 to 5. So if you want to pause the video for a minute and go ahead and do these 8 examples, come back when you're done and we'll see if we're right. So as we go through this, I want to remind you of the directions. I want it in simplest form and 2 different ways. So here we go. 8 to 2. So I'm going to start with this, but I'm going to divide by 2. So my answer is 4 to 1 and 4 to 1. So that's simplest form, 2 different ways. 15 girls to 24 boys. I'm going to divide by 3. Always think of the biggest number you can divide by. So I get 5 to 8, 5 to 8. 20 flounder to 8 bluefish, I'm going to divide by 4, being the biggest number. So it'd be 5 to 2, 5 to 2. 6 chaperones to 42 students. The biggest number I can divide by is 6. So that would give me 1 to 7, 1 to 7. 36 bananas to 27 apples. Again, biggest number I can divide both of them by would be 9. That would give me 4 to 3, 4 to 3. 8 Skittles to 14 M&Ms. I can divide by 2, which would give me 4 to 7, 4 to 7. 30 quarters to 72. Think of the biggest number. I'm going to divide by 6. That's going to give me 5 to 7, 5 to 7. 24 kayaks to 40 paddle boards. I can divide by 8 on this one. That would give me 3 to 5, 3 to 5. And this is what part of your homework is going to look like. So now let's talk about part to part and part to whole. We're going to use the diagram down here at the bottom, but let's start with number 9. This past season, the hockey team had 48 wins and 28 losses. Find each ratio in simplest form. So I'm going to fill out this bottom chart down here. I'm going to have wins, which is 48. I'm going to have losses, which is 28. But then I need their total games. So I'm going to add them together, and I believe I get 76. Go ahead and check my math to make sure. But I also know that I need it in simplest form, so I'm going to do that right away. So simplest form is going to be in this last column. I have 48 and 28. I can divide by 4 would be the perfect number for that. 48 divided by 4 is 12. 28 divided by 48 is 7. And I believe I can do 76 divided by 4. I believe that gives me 19. Again, you can double check the math, but there is my numbers in simplest form. So if I go up to A, I want wins to losses. Well, I already have that. It would have been 48 to 28, but again, I divided by 4, so my answer is 12 to 7. That's a part-to-part ratio. Now, letter B, I want losses to total games. So again, using my numbers down here, I have 7 losses to 19 total games. That is a part to whole. Losses is the part, games is the whole thing. So let's look at number 10. Number 10 is going to be a little bit different. Given the word Massachusetts, find each ratio in simplest form. So vowels to consonants. So I'm going to count my vowels. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 vowels, which leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 consonants. And again, that is a part to part, vowels to consonants. Letter B just wants the S's to the total letters. Well, I believe I have 13 total letters. How many S's do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 S's. So there's my ratio. That is a part to whole. Just the S's, which is part of the word, to all the letters, which is the total word. And if you look at both of them, neither one can be simplified, so they're already in simplest form. So in a survey of 57th graders, 10 chose Fanta as their favorite drink, 40 chose Sprite as their favorite drink. So I can set up my little chart. I have how many like Fanta, how many like Sprite, then I have the total. So Fanta was 10, Sprite was 40, and they already told us the total was 50. So we can write a part-to-part ratio. If I ask for a part-to-part ratio, you would either say 10 Fanta to 40 Sprite, 1 to 4, or 40 to 10, 4 to 1. Those would be part-to-part ratios. Part to whole, I'm going to write down here, would be either the 10 who like Fanta to the 50 total people, or 1 to 5. Or I could write the people who like Sprite to the total people, which would be 4 to 5. Those would be my part to whole ratios. Now, the question about size. Size does matter in this respect. Ryan is a basketball player. He is 6 feet tall. So we know that Ryan is 6 feet tall. His friend Steve who is shorter than Ryan, is 60 inches tall. Ryan says the ratio between his height and Steve's height is 6 to 60. And I'm not going to simplify it right now. We're just going to use it as is. Is 6 to 60 the best way to describe the relationship between Ryan and Steve's height? I'm hoping you see the answer is no. It is not 6 to 60. Here we have 6 feet. Here we have 60 inches. So in order for it to work the best, we need to convert feet into inches or inches into feet. And it really doesn't matter which way. We could multiply 6 times 12, which would give us 72 to 60. Those would be inches. That would work. Or we could take 60 divided by 12, which would give us 5. We would have 6 to 5, and that would be in feet. Now we have a much better comparison because we're using the same labels, the same either feet or inches, and it's much easier to see who's taller, who's shorter. So let's try some, and here you may need to look up a few numbers. You may need to look up how many inches are in a foot, centimeters in a meter, yard in inches, kilometers in meters. You may need to look some of that up just to have on hand. That may be something you need. Well, we can start with number 11. I know that 1 foot has 12 inches, so I'm going to multiply that by 12. And I'm going to do that because 4 doesn't go, we would have less than a foot with 4 inches. So I have 12 inches to 4 inches. And again, have to write it as simplest form. I can divide by 4, which would give me 3 to 1. So that would be my answer. So a couple steps. Again, I know that feet to inches, I have to multiply by 12, so that would give me 36. So it would be 28 to 36. I'm guessing I can divide by 4 would be the best, which would give me 7 to 9, which would be my answer. Now I have it in inches. Feet to yards. So again, I know that there's 3 feet in 1 yard. So this would not go to 1 yard. So I'm going to multiply by 3. I have 2 feet to 6 feet. I can divide by 2, which would give me 1 to 3, which would be my answer. Now, 4 yards to 30 inches. I'm first going to multiply by 3, which would give me 12 feet. Then I'm going to multiply by 12 again, which would give me 144 inches. So my ratio to start out would be 144 to 30. Oh, but I can definitely divide, I know that. So let's start with 2, which would give me 72 to 15. And I'm thinking that might be it. Let me double check something. No, we can divide by 3. Let's divide by 3 again, which would give me 24 to 5, and that would be my answer. I could have done it right away and divided by 6, but I didn't know that right away. So I divided by 2, and then I divided by 3, and that got me my correct answer. There is 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So I'm going to, I can do 2, I can divide by 100, and that's going to give me 2 meters to 5 meters. And I like that because it's already in simplest form. If I did it the other way, I would have 200 to 500. I divide by 100, and I would still get 2 to 5. So either way, you would get to the correct answer. Kilometers to meters. 1 kilometer equals, I believe, 1,000 meters. So if we do that, 2 times 1,000, that would be 2,000 meters to 72. Again, I couldn't take meters up to kilometers because it's less than 1. So let's go ahead and start dividing. Let's divide by 2. That would give me 1,000. And 72 divided by 2 gives me 36. Oh, I bet I could divide by 4 here. I'm going to erase this down here to give me more room. So that would be 250 to 9, and I think that is pretty much it. So there would be my simplest form. Ratios with measurements is going to take a little bit longer to go down, but again, up in the directions, it will even tell you when they are different, convert one. It usually is easier to convert the larger quantity to the smaller quantity. That will help. So go ahead and pause the video, look up what you need to, cups and pints, gallons and quarts, all of that. Get that information, convert to the smallest, and then simplify. Pause, and then come back and see how you did. So let's go ahead and start with the answer. There is 2 cups to every pint, so I'm going to multiply by 2. So I get 4 to 16. Divide those by 4. My ratio is 1 to 4. There is 12 ounces, nope, I take that back, 16 ounces in a pound. So multiply by 16, I get 48 to 24. Here, I'm going to multiply or divide by 24, which gives me 2 to 1. Write my numbers backwards. There are 4 quarts to a gallon, so I'm going to multiply by 4. That gives me 8 to 10. I can divide by 2, so I get 4 to 5, which will be my answer. I'll circle my answers to make it a little bit easier. Now I have pints in gallons, so there are 8 pints in a gallon. So that's going to give me, whoops, I have to multiply by 8 over there. 3 to 32. And I don't believe there's anything I can divide by, so there's my answer in simplest form. Quarts to a gallon, there's 4 quarts, so I'm going to multiply by 4 there, so I have 4 to 24. Can definitely divide by 4, which gives me 1 to 6. There are 16 cups in a gallon, so multiply the gallons by 16, so I get 2 to 32. I'm going to divide by 2, gives me 3 to 16, which is in simplest form. Go ahead and pause the video and try these and come back to see how we did. So here we go to the answer. Now we're dealing with time. Hopefully you know minutes, time, seconds, all that kind of stuff. So let's go to minutes. I'm going to multiply by 60 minutes, so 28 to 60. And to simplify it, I believe I can divide by 4 here, which would give me 7 to 15. Having your calculator handy is definitely going to be a good thing. Minutes and seconds, so I know there's 60 seconds in a minute, so that would be 180 to 48. Again, converting to the smallest amount, so seconds, smallest time frame. I believe, holy cow, I bet I could divide by 12 here. That would give me 15 to 4. Hours and days, so 24 hours in a day, so that's 8 hours to 48 hours. Definitely can divide by 8, which would give me 1 to 6. Days and minutes, now 24 hours in a day and 60 minutes in an hour. I believe that gets me 1,440 to 54. Now, I did some math on my own, and I know that I can divide by 18, which would bring it down to 80 to 3. I first divided by 9, then I divided by 2. So you can go step by step. I just jumped to that for time and space. Now I got a word problem. It took Jane an hour and 20 minutes to do her math, while it took Ava just 45 minutes. So let's do Jane and just put it into minutes. So 1 hour is 60 minutes plus 20. It took her 80 minutes. And Ava is already in minutes at 45 minutes. So now the ratio of time it took Jane to do her homework to the time it took Ava. So I'm going to do Jane to Ava. Again, I can simplify definitely by 5, which gives me 16 to 9, which is as simple as it can get. So now we got one more set of problems to do, and you're not going to have any homework on this, but I need you to know how to do it. Let's do apples to oranges, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 apples to 1 orange. But let's say if I got 3 more oranges, so now 1, 2, 3 more oranges, I would have 4 oranges. The question is, how many more apples would I need to have an apples of to oranges ratio of 7 to 1? So what would this be? So I want a ratio of 7 to 1. I know I have 4 oranges. So what would this number be? Well, here's where you are going to do a little bit of math. What did you do to the 1 to get 4? You're multiplying it by 4. So what is 7 times 4? 7 times 4 is 28. So how many more apples? I already have 5. I need 28 minus the 5 I already have. I need 23 more apples. And that would be my answer. A little bit of work to get there, but you can do it. Same kind of question. I have 3 dogs to 2 cats. If I don't get any more cats, so I'm going to keep 2 cats, how many more dogs would I need to have a dog to cat ratio of 5 to 1? So I want 5 to 1. I know I'm still going to have 2 cats. Again, we're going to do the math. 1 times 2 would give me 2. So 5 times 2 would 10. I already have 3, so I would need 7 more dogs would be my answer. Just some review, just some extra problems, but it's not on your homework, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Your homework is in Schoology. It is the 5.1 homework 2020. I redid it in 2020, so I just mark it as that's the version I want you to do, and it's in Schoology. And if you are in class, you will get a paper copy. Let me know if you have questions. Good luck.